My landlord stopped by to fix the sink. When he rolled up his sleeves, I recognized the tattoo from the man who held a knife to my throat during a home invasion. I'd been in the apartment for 3 months. Quiet building, decent rent, landlord who actually responded to maintenance requests. When the kitchen sink started leaking, I texted him, and he said he'd swing by Saturday morning. No big deal. I made coffee, left the door unlocked, and was scrolling through my phone when he knocked twice and walked in. Vincent was maybe 50, salt and pepper beard, friendly eyes. He'd always been professional, even helped me carry groceries once when I was struggling with bags. Thanks for coming, I said. He smiled, grabbed his toolbox, and headed for the kitchen. Happy to help. These old pipes are temperamental. I leaned against the counter while he crouched under the sink, making small talk about the weather, the neighborhood, whether I was settling in okay. Then he said it was getting warm and rolled up his sleeves. That's when I saw it. A serpent coiled around a dagger, scales detailed in green and black, fangs dripping red. My coffee mug slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. 3 years ago, I woke up at 2 a.m. to a hand over my mouth and a blade pressed against my throat. 2 men in ski masks had broken into my old apartment. One ransacked the place while the other held me down, whispering that if I made a sound, he'd open my neck like an envelope. I remember the cold steel, the smell of cigarettes on his breath, the way his sleeve rode up as he pressed harder. That tattoo was inches from my face for 20 minutes. I memorized every scale, every drop of blood on those fangs. The cops never caught them. I moved twice, did therapy for 18 months, still slept with a baseball bat beside my bed. And now, the same tattoo was under my kitchen sink, attached to the man who had keys to my apartment and knew exactly when I was home alone. Vincent looked up at me, concerned. You okay? You look pale. I forced myself to breathe, just startled myself. I laughed weakly, clumsy. He nodded and went back to work while I grabbed paper towels with shaking hands. My mind was racing. Was it really him? Plenty of people had snake tattoos, but this one was identical. Same placement, same size, same distinctive curve, where the serpent's tail wrapped around the blade handle. I'd drawn it for the police sketch artist so many times I could recreate it blindfolded. As I cleaned up the broken ceramic, I noticed his toolbox, old, weathered, with a faded sticker on the side, a logo for a locksmith company that went out of business years ago. My blood went cold. The detective had said the intruders knew how to pick locks professionally. No forced entry, no broken windows. They'd walked right in like they had keys. I need to make a call, I said, backing toward my bedroom. Work emergency. Vincent didn't look up. Take your time. I've got this handled. I closed the door and immediately dialed my brother Nathan. He answered on the third ring, groggy. What's up? I whispered everything as fast as I could. The landlord, the tattoo, the locksmith sticker. Nathan went silent for a long moment. You're sure it's the same tattoo? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Stay calm, he said. I'm calling Detective Orozco right now. She worked your case. Keep him there, but don't let him know you recognize him. I'm 20 minutes away. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the bedroom mirror. The same face that had been pressed into a pillow while a masked man told me exactly how he'd kill me if I screamed. I'd spent 3 years jumping at shadows, checking locks obsessively, never feeling safe anywhere, and my attacker had been cashing my rent checks the entire time. I went back to the kitchen. Vincent was finishing up, wiping his hands on a rag. All fixed, he said cheerfully. Just needed a new washer. I thanked him, offered him the coffee I'd made, asked about his weekend plans. Every word felt like swallowing glass. He leaned against my counter, chatting about his daughter's soccer game, his wife's birthday coming up. A normal man living a normal life. But I kept watching his hands. The same hands that had held a knife to my throat while his partner stuffed my laptop and grandmother's jewelry into a duffel bag. His phone buzzed, and he checked it, frowning. Gotta run, he said. Another tenant's got a burst pipe. He grabbed his toolbox and headed for the door. Then he paused, turned back, and looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. You know, he said slowly. You remind me of someone. Can't quite place it. My heart stopped. I shrugged. I get that a lot. He studied my face for another moment, then smiled and left. Nathan arrived with Detective Orozco 15 minutes later. I showed her photos of the tattoo I'd secretly taken while pretending to text. She matched it to the sketch from my original case file. They pulled Vincent's records and found a prior arrest for breaking and entering that had been expunged. His DNA matched samples from 2 other home invasions in the area. When they arrested him that evening, he was carrying a key ring with copies of every tenant's apartment key. At his arraignment, Vincent finally looked at me, and recognition flooded his face. I stared back until they led him away.